reducing nth term of an AP in terms of sum to n terms and sum to n minus 1 terms, that is Tn is equals to sum of n terms minus sum of n minus 1 terms. So here we have to deduce nth term as s of n minus s of n minus 1 in an advanced level. Now, so we are going to deduce the nth term of an AP as sum of all the n terms minus sum of all the n minus 1 terms by means of one illustration. So here under illustration, let the set of even natural numbers be 2, 4, 6, 8 and so on. So here the least even number is of 2, the second, that is the next consecutive even number is of 4, the next consecutive is of 6 and then so on. The first term in it is of 2, the second term in the series or the set of even natural numbers is of 4, third term is of 6 and fourth term is of 8 and so on. And the sum of n even natural numbers so we are denoting by means of, or we are assuming by means of s of n. So here that s of n is given by means of sum of n even natural numbers is given by means of the first even natural number is of 2, but we have to find out the sum, so we have to add up then the remaining also. So 2 plus 4 plus 6 plus 8 plus and so on, which gives us the sum of even natural numbers set. Then here we are going to assume, so here T1, the first term as 2, the second term as 4, the third term as 6 and the fourth term as 8 and so on. So in order to find out the sum of first terms, so we have to add up all the first terms. So here as per the sequence, the first term is of only 2, so here the sum of all the first terms will be of only 2. Then now sum of two numbers, so S2 indicates sum of two even natural numbers, so here which equals 2. So first term plus second term will give us the sum of the addition of the, so here we have to find out the sum of the two terms. So here the sum of the two terms is of, two terms are of first term and as well as the second term, so we have to add up first term and the second term in order to get, so here sum of the two terms. So here first term is of 2 and second term is of 4, so we have to replace first term, so that implies by 2 plus second term by means of 4, that implies 2 plus 4 is of 6. So in this manner I got sum of all the two terms of the sequence is of 6, whereas sum of the one term, that is the first term, is of 2. Then later, in order to get sum of all the three terms, so here three terms are of, first three terms are of T1, T2 and as well as T3. So all the three terms must be added up in order to get the sum of all the 3 terms. But the first term, as per the problem, the first term is of 2 plus, as per the sequence, the second term and third term are of. So your second term and third term are of 4 and 6. 4 plus 6. So that implies 6 plus 4 is of 10, 10 plus 2 is of 12. So in this manner I got. So sum of all the 3 terms is equals to 12. In order to get sum of 4 terms, so I have to add up all the 4 terms. So first term plus second term plus third term plus fourth term will give us the sum of all the 4 terms. But as per the sequence which is given, so here 4 terms are of 2 plus 4 plus 6 plus 8. Then now first term replacing by means of 2, second term by means of 4, third term by 6 and fourth term by 8. So that implies 6 plus 4 is of 10, 10 plus 8 is of 18, 18 plus 2 is of 20. So in this manner I got S of 4. So here therefore S of 4 is equals to 20. Then now let us find the difference. So here in this manner I got S of 1 as 2 and S of 2 as 6, S of 3 as 12 and S of 4 as 20. So here let us write in order that S of 1 and 2 are of 2 and 6. So here S of 1 is equals to 2 and S of 2 equals to 6. Then S of 3 is of 12 and S of 4 is of 20. 12 and 20 are the sum of 3 terms and as well as sum of 4 terms. So 12 and as well as 20. Then now here let us find out. So here S2 minus S1, the difference of the first two. So here equals to S2 is of 6 minus S1 is of 2. So when we subtract, 6 minus 2 is of 4. But here 4. So here 4 is the second term. So in this manner we got, so 4 is nothing but the second term. So here therefore S2 minus S1 is equals to the second term. Or in other words, second term by interchanging LHS and RHS totally. So we will be getting second term on the LHS and S2 minus S1 on the right hand side. There won't be any sort of changes in their signs. So here in this manner we got, in order to get second term, so we have to subtract S of 1 from S of 2. So here we have to get 2, that is second term, from 2 minus 1 we will be getting S as 2, that is it can be written as. So here that implies second term can be obtained from by S2 minus, so S of, so we have to get as a S1. So 1 can be written, or in other words as 2 minus 1, it is of 2, S2 minus S2 minus 1. Then similarly, so now let us subtract. We have subtracted as here 1 and 2, then now 2 and 3. So S3 minus S2. So S2 minus S1. So we got it as T2. Then S3 minus S2 now. So S3 minus S2 equals to S3 is of 12 minus S2. Sum of the two terms is of 6. That equals to 6 is of negative and 12 is of positive. Further simplification, plus into minus is of minus. Let us subtract. 12 minus 6 is of 6. In order to assess the sign here, 12 is greater than 6. 12 sign is of positive. We will get the sign as positive. So here in this manner I got S3 minus S2 is equals to positive 6. But positive 6 is equals to, as per the sequence, the 6 is of third term. So here we will be getting it as the third term. So therefore S3 minus S2 is equals to third term, or in other words by shuffling LHS and RHS at a time, the third term can be written as S3 minus S2, or in other words we can write it as S3. So T3 equals to S3. So T3 equals to S3 minus, in order to get 2, so we can write it as 3 and as well as 3 minus 1. It is of, to get second term T2, to get T2 from S2 we have to subtract S2 minus 1. In order to get T3, so here from S3 we have to subtract S3 minus 1. So in this manner I got, so here T3, that is the third term, by subtracting S3 minus 1 from S3. Then now we have chosen 2 and 3, then now 3 and 4. From S4 we are going to subtract S3. Then in the next logical step, so S4 minus S3 is equals to. So as per the problem, the S4 is of 20 and S3 is of 12. So 20 minus 12, so will be equals to. So 12 is of negative and 20 is of positive. Plus of minus is minus. Let us subtract. 20 minus 12 is of 8. In order to assess the sign here, 20 is greater than 12. 12 is of positive. So it assesses the sign of positive. So here in this manner I got S4 minus S3 is equals to positive 8. But this positive 8 as per the series, so 8 is of T4 is of T4, say here therefore, so we can write it as S4 minus S3 is equals to T4, or in other words, so T4, the fourth term can be written as S4 minus S3, or in other words we can write T4 equals to S4 minus 1 as 3. So in this manner I got the fourth term as T4 equals to S4 minus 1. In order to get the fifth term, so we can write as here similarly. So here this is the notation of similarly. So similarly we can write the T5. So here T4 equals to 4 minus 1. So T5 is equals to S5 minus S5 minus 1. So here similarly we can write the sixth term as S6 minus S6 minus 1. So at the same time and so on. So here similarly and so on we get nth term as, so here Tn. So when we write it instead of 6, if I write it as n, so Tn equals to Tsn minus Sn minus 1. So nth term is equals to Sn minus S of n minus 1. So in this manner, so we have proved in order to get the nth term, we have to subtract S of n minus 1 from S of n, from sum of n minus 1 terms. So here from sum of n terms, we have to subtract sum of n minus 1 terms in order to get the nth term.